So today we're going to be reacting to the Ringers top 25, 25 and under. I've seen the top 10 and there are some crazy, and I mean crazy things that they've said. Some absolutely crazy things. But we're going to obviously be counting down from 25 to 1. And the top 10 is just mental. It's just mental. So this could be, grab your popcorn. This one could be an interesting one because, well, they've said I'm just going to say this. They have basically said the second best player in the world isn't one of the top 3. That's all I'm going to say. So at number 25, they have Jabari Smith. That's not terrible. It's not a terrible one. He actually had a really solid second year. He's a really solid player in general. Like, I genuinely don't think that he was that bad a pick for Houston at number 3. I think in a redraft of 2022, J-Dub probably goes over him, but he still probably is a top 5. Like, obviously, hindsight 2020, like, thank God the Magic didn't pick him at number 1. It's crazy that we were talking about him like he was a number 1 in hindsight, but still, he's really good. And I like everything he brings on the floor. He's genuinely is good. Surely Jay McDaniels is on this list. 24, Garland. Now, that's... I would have maybe put Garland a bit higher. Because if we want to... We have to judge Garland by the situation as well, because he's playing with Mitchell, which clearly doesn't fit. And when we look back at Garland was an all-star 2 years ago, so he's probably going to be an all-star again soon. So I actually think that this is very, very low for him. I think Garland, at his peak, at his best, is a top 35 player in the NBA. 24 could be a bit low, but we need to see what there is. Because obviously, he's not had the best season. It says he was out of sorts for Cleveland's first mini-series run since LeBron, but like, he basically couldn't even eat for a while this season. It was hard. Like, he just wasn't in a good situation. I think 24 is a bit low. 23, Desmond Bane. I think after this year, I mean, look, he was the best. Desmond Bane was the best player in the Memphis Grizzlies this year. Just missed a cut. Who just missed a cut? Desmond Bane, though, at 23 isn't too bad. Gonna be a good offensive player, and I would have Garland over Bane, but Desmond Bane's fine there. Just missed a cut is Kobe White. Fine. That's fine. Simon's fine. Herb Jones, probably, with his defense, he probably does deserve to be in this list, but I don't hate him not being in the top 25, but it's also not a crazy thing. Jaden McDaniels, Kuminga, I don't really rate MPJ that high. Tyler Hero, cool. Especially if Garland's 24. MPJ, fine. I think it is a bit harsh for Jaden McDaniels. But I think overall, Jaden McDaniels probably is a better player than Herb Jones. If you're asking me who I would take on my team, Desmond Bane or Jaden McDaniels, I'd probably take McDaniels. Maybe a bit of a prisoner at the moment, but he's that good on defense, and he was arguably the best player in Game 7 for the Timberwolves, other than Rudy Gobert, to be honest. So, I think he's probably the most hard done by. And well, it all depends on who's coming up next. Now, Jalen Green. I know he ended the season really well. But, like, I think 95% of NBA teams would take Jaden McDaniels over Jalen Green. And I could be so wrong with this, by the way. Like, in a year's time, we could look at this and think, how is he only at 22? How is he only at 22? Because he's obviously been superb. He's been superb to end the season. The problem is, like, he wasn't great to start the season. People were talking about trading him. People call him a bust at the start of the year. Like, I don't think he was great. So, like, he's fine at this spot. I just think with Jaden McDaniels still there, Herb Jones, I think it's hard. No, not over McDaniels. Again, Jalen Johnson's really good. He's really nice. Like, if he continues with the trajectory and he continues with the improvement that he's had, he's looking like one of the steals of the 2021 NBA draft. 21, though, is very high. It's very high when you've got McDaniels there. And, like, I know he stepped up big time this year, but, like, it was on a not very good Hawks team. And I don't know how much more... You know what? Again, this is just like a Jalen Green one where it's like, maybe the Ringer are a bit of a prisoner at the moment, or maybe I'm just not enough of a prisoner at the moment. Maybe, like, this season was his ascension to being a star. But there are still guys in the honorable mentions, and I'd still put Darius Garland over him. LaMelo Ball, 20... This is hard. This is hard, like, because he doesn't really play that much. It says here when he plays, being the face of the league isn't just a matter of playing great basketball. It takes undeniable charisma and just crucially buzzing sense of possibility. You never know what he might do with the ball. I mean, you also never know what he might do when he's driving his car, but that's a different story. LaMelo Ball is brilliant. He is a brilliant player. He's a brilliant passer. He can score. He won Rookie of the Year over Ant-Man, who's one of the best players in the NBA. He was looking like he was on track to being one of the faces of the NBA. He lived up to the hype. He was every bit as good as people thought he was going to be coming into the league, which is rare for a player as hyped as him. Like, normally when players are this hyped, it's tough to live up to it, but he did. With 20, I think is a fair spot for him. 19, Jaren Jackson Jr. Again, this is another one where I'm like, is it low for Jaren Jackson Jr.? He was Defensive Player of the Year last year, and like maybe he's gone down a little bit because the Memphis Grizzlies sucked. I thought it was hilarious watching him play in the World Cup last year. Every time someone drove at Jaren Jackson Jr., it was a guaranteed 2 points. Because every single time a shot went up, he just slapped the backboard and it's a goaltend. But 19, I think that might be fair. I'm okay with him being ahead of everyone he's been ahead of so far. But an elite defender, I think he's probably higher than 19, to be honest. There's obviously a down year for Memphis and down year for him as well. But I think when Memphis are good, he's going to show how his importance again. And like winning a DPOY and being 19 is like, he probably should be higher. Franz Wagner, yeah. I don't mind it. Like, he just can't shoot. He literally just can't shoot. If Franz Wagner becomes a 35% three-point shooter, like if he even becomes like a 35% three-point shooter, he's going to be a multiple-time All-Star. The problem is that he can't shoot at all. He's one of the worst shooters in the NBA. And people just think that he's a shooter. No, he can't shoot. He's a 6'10 wing who can score. He had one of the worst Game 7s ever, but again, it was his first playoff series. Cut the guy a bit of slack there. Him and Paolo Panchero are going to be an unbelievable partnership. The Magic's future is so bright because of them. 18 is just too high. 18 is too high over Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm sorry, it is. 17, Brandon Miller there is no way. I think Brandon Miller was great, by the way. What are we going to see? Scoot Henderson in the honorable mentions. Brandon Miller was really good as a rookie. Brandon Miller is, and this is not based on potential, Brandon Miller is not better than LaMelo Ball right now if he plays. Brandon Miller is not better than Jaren Jackson Jr. Brandon Miller is not better than Jaden McDaniels. Brandon Miller is not a top 25 player under 25. And that's fine, because he will be. In a year's time, Brandon Miller will be. He was unbelievable as a rookie. And like, I didn't have much hope for him. He was class. Like a summer of working out, another year in the NBA, he's going to be a 23, 24 point a game scorer. One of the faces of the Charlotte Hornets franchise. But 17 right now is too high. That is way too high for him. Tied 15, Evan Mobley. I actually don't mind that one. I think if he ends up playing center, he's going to be even better. He's a superb defender, an absolutely superb defender. He's like, in my opinion, the ceiling for Alex Sarr. Like, when people are talking about Alex Sarr, I think Mobley is like a best case scenario for Sarr. But he's a really nice player. Played really well in the playoffs, and if he can get that offense up, his defense is already there. Trae Young is better than 15th. Man. How is Trae Young the number 15 player under 25? Come on now. Look, I get it. I get all of his shortcomings. But come on now. This is Trae bleeping Young. He's an all-star. Unless there's 14 all-stars ahead of him, he is in the best 15. Without question. How is he 15th? How is Cade Cunningham ahead of Trae Young? What is this? And again, this is not based on potential. This is purely a list of who the best players are. How? Cade Cunningham is fine. His team lost. He played, and his team lost 28 games in a row. I'm sorry. Trae Young would have at least won one of those games. Trae Young would not have let a team lose a record amount of games. There's no way. There's actually no way. And again, wait, why there's hope? He did whip them in a Team USA scrimmage. What are you talking about? What are you talking about with Cade Cunningham? Like, I like Cade Cunningham, but the 14th best player under 25. When he has been, not a bust, but like he's played not above expectations. Scotty Barnes 13. Okay, wait, how is Cade Cunningham ahead of Evan? Whatever. Scotty Barnes 13. Yeah, that's cool. I'm cool with that. I would have thought maybe a bit higher because, again, he's an all-star. He's an all-star, and like when the Raptors were all right at the start of the year, he was their best player. I know they started tanking, but he was still really nice. And like the fact is, they still didn't get their pick, which is the worst part about it. But yeah, Barnes been good. He'll be a star. He is a star. Alperen Sengun at 12. I like Sengun. I don't think he's better than Scotty Barnes. Like, he's a really good passer. He rebounds. He's like a poor man's Jokic, but we already seen our poor man's Jokic in the Domantas Sabonis. 21 points. He's a good rebounder. He's the best player on the Rockets. But like, him and Jalen Green don't play well with each other. And if I'm Houston, I'm seeing how they are to start the season, then maybe looking to capitalize on one of their trade values. Is it easier to replace Sengun or Green? It depends on what your team wants. There's not that many Senguns out there. There's more guys. You might get similar value for both of them. But again, superb player, but 12 is very high. Like Sengun over Trae Young, it's very, very high. Ja Morant at 10. Now, if he plays, there's no way he's 10th. But like, obviously the suspension and injury this season. There's no way he's 10th. There's absolutely no way Ja isn't 10. There's no way. And then I've seen a Zion Williamson 10. There is no way. There's absolutely no way that Zion and Ja are ranked tied and are number 10. Like, one, what's the point in tying them? But two, at 10 and 11, there is no way one of those two guys is not a top 10 player under the age of 25. Like, that is mental. That is absolutely mental. There's just no way. Like, Zion, again, the play-in, he had 40 in the play-in. I know he's injured. If you want to bring Zion down because of availability, cool. Like, Ja hasn't had a career, like, Ja's career hasn't been injuries, but also, like, Zion is still better than that. He's still that good. Paolo 9. Oh, yeah. Cool. The best ability is availability. If you want to put him above Zion and Ja because of that, cool. I really like Paolo. I think he is actually going to be so much better than I expected. I wasn't that high on like him as a draft prospect. I wasn't that high when they took him, but he's really good. He can do everything. He's a 6'10 player. He's going to dominate for a while. He's going to be the face of a really, really good Orlando Magic team. So I'm happy out with Paolo Banchero at 9. I'm cool with that one. At number 8, J-Dub's not number 8. J-Dub is not the 8th best player under 25 in the NBA. J-Dub is not better than Zion and Ja. Like, he's just not. He's just not. Like, I really like J-Dub. He was the steal of the 2022 draft, but like, he's not better than Paolo Banchero. I'm sorry, in a redraft of 2022, Paolo Banchero goes number 1 to anybody. The only argument that Paolo doesn't go number 1 is Chet. And I still think you take Paolo number 1. And we haven't seen Chet. There's no way Chet's above Paolo. There's no way Chet's above. There's no way OKC have got, and this isn't for potential, there's no way OKC have got 3 in the top 10 and lost to a Luka on one leg. There's no way. But he's like, and this is me having to like be like, go at J-Dub, who I think is brilliant. He's just not number 8. Chet Holmgren 7. I don't even hate this that much, but come on now. Come on now. As good as Chet Holmgren is, no, not right now. Not right now. If this was potential, cool. But like, he's also 22 years old. But he is going to be really good. Chet Holmgren's going to be exceptional. But still, come on. Come on. Tyrese Maxey 6. Cool. Cool. I will not argue that one. Tyrese Maxey not only balled out in the regular season, man balled out in the playoffs. 25 points. He was exceptional. He was the best player for the Sixers. I think 6 might be a bit high because as great as he was, as soon as Embiid went down, the Sixers started losing games. I think 10 spots above Trae Young is probably too high, but Maxey at 6 is not the end of the world, to be honest. I don't think he should be that high. but I also don't hate it. Tyrese Haliburton at 5. Yeah, I like Haliburton. Led the NBA in assists. Solid enough. Like, not a great defender, but fine on defense. He's like not the best scorer. He shoots the ball pretty well despite his like broken jump shot, but he's the leader of one of the best offensive teams in the NBA. So yeah, I'm cool with him at 5. I'm cool with Haliburton at 5. This is it. Luka Doncic. They have literally, you can see right there, they have ranked him as the second best player in the NBA. So they made a ranking of, when was this ranking done? So you can see here, does this say updated in May? Updated 10th of April. So lads, 6 weeks ago, they ranked Luka as the second best player in the NBA. And all Luka has done is get injured and still be the best player on a conference finals team. He averaged 34, 9, and 10. And look. He's been the best player on the Mavs. He has been. He's had bad games. When you can have a bad game on one leg and still average a near 30-point triple-double leading your team to a win, you can't be number 4. You cannot be number 4. He's number 1. And by the way, even if the Minnesota Timberwolves win, he's still number 1. For now. Luka Doncic, in 6 seasons in the NBA, has made 2 conference finals, took a Kawhi Leonard team in 2021 who were favorites to win a championship to 6 games. Sorry, the 7 games. Then the year before took the favorites to 6 games. Then obviously conference finals, a bad year with Kyrie, conference finals again. He's also made the All-NBA first team 5 times. He averaged 34, 9, and 10. He has made averaging 34, 9, and 10 seem normal. Like, he has literally made the 35-point triple-double seem normal. He also had 73 points in a game this year. I'm sorry, Luka is number 1. Just because Luka, on one leg in the playoffs, probably isn't performing as well as he could if he had 2 fully functioning knees, does not mean he's not number 1, and number 1 by enough of a margin that even if Anthony Edwards goes and wins the NBA championship, he is still number 1 for now. Do I think Ant-Man will have a better career than Luka? No, but could he? Yeah. Like, we could look back at this in a year, like Luka's going to be out of it next year. We could look back on this and say, oh, maybe Ant-Man is better than Luka, but not right now. No matter what happens. Even if Ant-Man outplays Luka in the conference finals, cool, he outplayed Luka on one leg. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did in the last series too. And you've got Shai at number 3. You've got Shai at number 3. Again, you have him as the 4th best NBA player and you have him at number 3. And yeah, who do you have at number 3? So you have Giannis as the 3rd best. So Giannis and Jokic aren't there. So like, this is actually the perfect list. This is actually the perfect way to do it. Luka 1, Shai 2. Simple as that. That is it. From 6 weeks ago. Luka 1, Shai 2. It's obvious. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was brilliant. He was brilliant. Runner-up for MVP, 30 points a game. First seed. An absolutely unbelievable year. Was great in the playoffs. He's a guy that's going to give you he's going to give you 30 a night. They call him Mr. 31 points for a reason. Like, he'll never give you 50, but he will never give you 15. He'll just give you the same incredible performance time after time after time after time after time. Like, just a ridiculous season. Like, Shai's brilliant. Shai's so freaking good. And I think Shai is going to continue to ascend. Obviously, the Thunder didn't win. Not all his fault. He was the leader of the team. But he had a really good series against Dallas. They did go and lose in 6. Not at the Luka level yet. Not at the Luka level at all. And he's older than Luka as well. Every dog about Shai is his young up and coming player. He's older than Luka Doncic. Luka was just so good early in his career that they think he's older than he is. But Shai at 3 is a joke. But the fact is, Shai should be 2 and Luka should be 1. Any other thing is just not right. Anthony Edwards at 2 is the most like living in the moment thing I've seen. Anthony Edwards has been brilliant all season. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant in the playoffs. But like, he's made a second All-Star team. You ranked him as the 14th best player in the NBA, whereas you've got these guys at 4 and 2, and you have said the guy who you ranked 6 weeks ago at 14 is better than both of them. And has been great in the playoffs. And has had a few really not good games in the playoffs as well. But then even in Game 7 on a bad game, his defense was unbelievable. And that's maybe when we look in 5 years' time, at who the best of all these players was, it could be Ant. Purely because when he's having bad games offensively, he is not nearly the offensive player that Luka Doncic or shai gilgeous-alexander is. And everyone talking about Shai as this, like, I think he got votes for Defensive Player of the Year, but, like, he wasn't guarding anyone against Dallas. Like, Ant-Man is the better defender of the three of them. He's tenacious, and he plays on probably the better team. He could win a couple of rings, and this narrative could change. But as of right now, even if they do win the conference finals, he's still not... Even if they win the finals, he's not better than Luka yet. He could well be, but not yet. And it is ludicrous to put him 2 spots above. And number 1 is the most brain-dead decision I've seen. How is Victor today better than Luka Doncic, Ant-Man? Do you want to know where Victor should be ranked? By the way, Chet at 7 is ridiculous too. Chet shouldn't be there. Paolo should probably... You probably want to put Paolo at 7. If you keep things as they are and you put Paolo at 7, Victor probably is 8. That's a thing. And it's like, in 2 years' time, could Victor be number 1 in this list? Yeah, he could. Just like Anthony Edwards could be number 1 in this list. But this is literally a list of who the better players are. And Victor Wembanyama is he shot 51% effective field goal percentage as a rookie. Like, that's not good. That's not good at all. Like, you got 52 for Ant. For Shai, you got 56. And for Luka, you got 57.3. And Wemby 7'5". And around the basket, like, he's a much better shot blocker. Cool. He's a better defender than those guys, but him at number 1 right now is jumping the gun. It's massively jumping the gun. Like, it's jumping the gun to the stage where to the extent I've almost never seen before. Like, he's jumped the gun so much that if this was a 100-meter race, like, Wemby would already be 80 meters in. Like, that's how much they're jumping the gun on this. But, like, if this was based on potential or who you start your franchise with and you chose that alien from France, like, cool. But that's not what it is. This is the best players under 25. And you ranked him at 16, and you have, for some reason, put the guy you ranked at 16. So 6 weeks ago, you had Luka at 2, and you had Wemby at 16. All that's happened in those 6 weeks is Wemby has sat at home, has been spotted in a shop trying to buy his rookie card, has had it come out that he spent his first NBA check on a Lego set, whereas Luka Doncic has hurt his knee and on one good leg, led his team to the Western Conference Finals. But yet somehow it is massively flipped. Either way though, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The real top 3 is Anthony Edwards at number 3, shai gilgeous-alexander number 2, and Luka Doncic number 1. That is the top 3, without question. If you want to put Victor in the top 5, whatever. But, like, the top 3 are those. Number 4, probably one of the Tyreses. Probably Tyrese Haliburton. Number 5, Tyrese Maxey. Number 6, Paolo Panchero. Number 7, you can go Wemby there. Or you can honestly go Zion there for right now. But, like, that's really where it is. That's where Wemby belongs. And we also have to take into account Ja Morant is in there. So maybe you can put Ja Morant in there. But Wemby belongs in that, like, 6 to 8 range. He is not better than Luka Doncic right now.